I used to say, "Welcome to your daily dose of salt and light," but that's changing, and I just realized my intro video is still the old one, and I need to update it. So the show has changed a little bit because I'm now gonna be doing homesteading content on top of my live show talking about news and politics. So it's changed to Rooted, Salty, and Light with myself, Nadine Ness. It's been a while. It's been probably a couple months. I had told you the last time I did like a full show like this, where we're going to cover the news and politics, I had told you guys that I would be taking a break because the organization that I was leading, Unified Grassroots, was going to be doing a ton of town halls throughout the province of Saskatchewan. It was going to be very time consuming, and it turned out to be very time consuming. So I paused the show for a bit just because I didn't have time. It was taking so much my time and time away from the family. Just it was just a little bit too demanding. But anyways, if you've been following me, you would have known that I left Unified Grassroots. I'm still supporting the organization. I'm still going to share what they're doing and promote them. I just won't be the one leading it. So if you haven't seen the whole explanation as to why, if you go back on my YouTube channel, you'll see one where I'm wearing a hat and a dress and showing you guys what we're doing. So basically, we're getting into homesteading like a lot more bigger, I guess, and serious. I have about 350 chickens right now, and some of you will be like, "Oh, the limit's only 290." I have 250 layers, and I have some chicks that I'm growing to become layers to then replace the layers that we have right now. They're older chickens. I think they're 2 years old, so they don't lay as much, but they're also former caged chickens, so they don't act like regular chickens. They don't roost. They don't go outside. I have to force them outside every single day by moving their feed outside. They're just a lot more work than regular chickens, so we're trying to grow our own. But yeah, there's gonna there's gonna be people that I haven't talked to or seen in a while watching the show. Jonathan, hi. Good afternoon. David is back on. David and I have been keeping in touch though. We've been talking on the phone quite a bit as I'm like transitioning to this new stage, I guess. So there was a lot I needed to get ready for, and I guess ready for this new direction for the show. So when I say the show, there's the live show will be the same, similar to this. I might talk about my chickens or a farm a little bit and how politics and life is affecting our own lives, but I'll also be doing homesteading content that will be on the same channel. We're hoping to do also cooking, so I'm going to be sharing some of my go-to recipes. Some of you might not know I'm actually a really good cook, so and I really like cooking, so I'll be sharing that. And then I'll be doing some woodworking slash construction projects. So the last few months I've been filming a lot on what I was doing. And then I'm going to be editing all of that and doing clips and sharing that. So yeah, part of that was getting our basement ready for filming when I'm working on stuff. It was a disaster down there and I was too embarrassed to share that with you guys. So I've been working on organizing it. And the next, I guess, thing that I'm going to work on is getting our kitchen. I'm looking that way because that's where my kitchen is, but getting our kitchen ready for filming. So, and I've been taking a course on filmmaking and content creation. So I'm about halfway through that. So I'll be finishing that too, just to try to get ideas on how to make things more simple. I'm just realizing right now I'm not centered. Am I? A little bit. Everything got moved around here. Not that long ago, I had Jason Levine here and I did an interview with him. I don't know if it's gone live yet. He hasn't shared if it has or not. So anyways, we had moved things around because we had filmed in here. And what else? Yeah, if you're in the Saskatoon, Greater Saskatoon, Warman, Orsler, any like small town around Saskatoon, you want to buy some eggs, I have a fridge full. I'm actually not too bad right now. I was a bit worried yesterday because we had so much, and I'm like, I'm not getting the orders to keep up with the production, but I got a ton of orders yesterday. So I'm doing good now. But if you want to buy eggs, I do deliver them straight to your house. And if you get a minimum of 3 dozen. But yeah, so that's happening. What else? I'm going to a conference, We Unify. I'm going to see if I can post in the comments the flyer. I'll do it after the show is done. It might let me, I don't know. Here. No, it just lets me. If you go to weunify.com, let's see. I'll just make sure. I'll pull up the website here on the screen. That might be better. So I'm one of the speakers, and that is on the 18th, coming up soon here. It's just opening up. There's quite a few people. Am I getting it wrong? Let's see. Or is my computer blocking it? Weunify.ca, that's why. Okay. Let's share the screen here. So the 19th to the 21st is the conference. I'm going there on the 18th. There's a speakers reception dinner thing. So I'm going to be there. If you guys want to get tickets for that. Oh, they have a little video here. Let's see how long it is. Might as well play it.
I don't have to tell you things.
Wait, let's play the conference video. Let me know if you guys can't hear. I haven't done a show in a long time. Jonathan said he just got tickets. Did you get a discount code? If you want to get tickets and you want to use my discount code, it's WE024 and you get 15% off.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone.
I think there's more than 40 now. So some of these people I've met before. Kaylin Ford's gonna be there. I don't know if you remember her. She was like there was like coordinated attacks on her when she was running for the UCP, the NDP, and she sued them. I like Michelle. So she was a former MP, so she's going. Lara Logan, she was the I'm being very careful about my words. I got monetized. Sorry. This is like super big news. You might notice my channel looks different. I reapplied and I took off a bunch of videos that I thought might be why I wasn't getting monetized, especially when I talk about sensitive subject, which I won't mention, but like my past experience and some of the profiling experience that I had, profiling specific individuals. It seems like when you say those words, it flags it. So I'm going to be very careful with the words that I use so that I don't lose my monetization. But anyways, Lara Logan was in Egypt and she was attacked and almost killed and brutally, won't say the word, but anyways, she's been very outspoken. She was outspoken during COVID. I did meet her when I went to Washington D.C. for the CPAC conference. So we briefly talked. But yeah, so I'm glad she's going to be there. Robert Malone. I wish I had like the bigger flyers so I could scroll through. Stockwell Day is going to be there. I love Stockwell. We did an interview talking about education system. If you haven't seen it, it will be one of my oldest interviews on this channel. Viva Frey, Bruce Party, which I really like. Rod from, is he still in charge of the CC, Canadian Firearms Association? I met Jennifer. We were in a Zoom call there was a Zoom call with a lot of the speakers, so she was there. Maxime Bernier is going to be there. Jessica Rose. I've heard of her name. Someone told me they were going specifically to hear her talk, but I'm not 100% familiar with her. Mia Hughes, so she represents Gen Spec Canada. So I've been on calls and stuff with them. Shane Wenzel. I like Shane. So we follow each other on Twitter. Dr. Ryan Cole. I'm hoping I get to have a chat with him. So when there's going to be like a VIP area, I guess, for all the speakers, so I'll probably get to speak with some of these people. Heather Wilson's going to be there with Give, Send, Go. Grant Abraham. I think he was one of the ones that ran against Pierre to represent. There's a new federal political party, I think. I just don't remember the name. Do you guys know? Is it United something? I should know. Like I said, I've been kind of out of the loop. So before I used to be like constantly on Twitter because I was doing my show. So I kind of needed to be like super well informed and up to date on everything, but I haven't been doing that for a while. So I'm kind of out of the loop, but I know he ran against Grant Abraham. Ooh, David. David sent me a super chat. I didn't even know how that would go, but thank you, David. He sent me $10. Now that my YouTube channel is monetized, people can send like a super chat, but he's my first. Thank you, David. But it's kind of funny. He says YouTube takes 30% of this, but it shows up in my group chat as like a yellow thing. I should make this bigger because I just realized it's been so long since I've done the show. I'm just going to move this downwards a bit so I can see more of the comments. Thank you, David. And Laura Lynn says, United Party of Canada is the name of the party. Who else? Garnet. He's an MP. So I'm glad to see MPs going to this thing. And I know I should probably know all these people's names, but Corey, I know Corey Morgan. Leighton Gray, Andrew Hale, I don't know him. Oh, Heritage Foundation. So that must be from the US. Is it called the Heritage Foundation? I think so. I've met some from that I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a lot of controversy during the election that what was it? It was a report, I think, that the Heritage Foundation had. I'm just going to Google it. Foundation. Project 2025. Yeah, it was a report that came out from the Heritage Foundation, which it was all like think tank ideas, like conservative ideas put into a report on what potentially could be done in a conservative government. So, but they were trying to tie it to Trump and saying Trump agrees with everything that's in there. But Trump is like, it has nothing to do with me. But, anyways, that was the Heritage Foundation. They are a very old organization that's been around for a long time, advancing a lot of conservative causes in the US. Oh, I'm there. So I'm going to be talking about some of the work that I did with Unified Grassroots, some of our wins, and some of the things that people can do within their own community. Jamie Soleil's there. Tanner Hindley. I think they've got his name wrong. I'm pretty sure they have his name wrong. I'm going to have to message the organizers. Or maybe I thought it was Hindley. No, it's right. Huh. Hndei. I thought it was Hindley. Well, they got it right. Curtis Stone, farmer. I don't know who he is. Jason. Sheldon. Lee Harding. Ted Kunz. How do you say that? I feel like I shouldn't be saying that word. If you guys know how to pronounce it. Oh, Jacob Wells, Give Sing Go. Parents for Choice, John Hilton O'Brien. Mitch Sylvester with Alberta Prosperity Project. John Graff, he's from Saskatchewan. Adam Sue's Canadians for Truth. So that's the same organization with oh, I'm having a brain fart. Bourgault. I can't remember his first name. Joseph Bourgault. Parents Union, Jeff Park. I've met him at many events. I don't know who Perry is. Dennis Modry's going to be there. Clyde Do Something. Marty Up North. Faytine. Wow, so many people I know. This is going to be a blast. Wyatt Clayport. It's basically anyone in Canada who's on the conservative side, from what I can see, will be there. Derek will be there. Jeff Everly. He's the one that's been standing up in Nova Scotia and got the fine. I wasn't planning on spending so much time on this, but there's so many good speakers. Byron Brittle. I should know how to say it. Drea Humphrey is going to be there. Michael Binion. So it's funny they put Questera Energy, but he's also the founder and president and CEO of Modern Miracle Network, as well as the Canada Strong and Free Network. He's like the one in charge of the board. I'm speaking for so far. I might be speaking more than once, but I am speaking on the Saturday evening. So, yeah, that's when they have me, Saturday evening. So, yeah, it's going to be really, really fun. But yeah, if you want to get tickets, you just go to weunify.ca and you can use the code WE024. That'll give you 15% off the tickets. You can get the whole weekend or you can get just some days, but I'm just going to double check. Yeah, WE024. And yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. I haven't booked my hotel yet. I'm going to be doing that today. I've got to do that. I've been putting it off for a while. I'm just looking at the comments here. Oh, Jonathan Grande. I'm gonna say grande. You're like a Starbucks grande. Just said I just read about Carney taking advice from the Heritage Foundation. His one of their advisors or something. I find that shocking considering it's like a really conservative organization. But anyway, I don't find it that shocking considering he's basically stealing the conservatives' platform right now. Oh, we live in a really weird time. Let's get started with the show. Okay, I have a lot of videos. We're going to talk about Castle Law, or what Pierre Poilievre is trying to start promoting. I'm getting a phone call. Sorry about that. But we're going to talk about Castle Law and just some of the stuff that has been happening in Canada in the last little while. We have a huge problem with crime in Canada. It's getting worse and worse by the day. And you're seeing stories after stories of break-ins, like just really awful stuff. A lot of it is in Ontario, but I mean, it's not a uncommon problem we have here. It seems to be new to Ontario. We've always faced it, but it's getting worse. And the reason it's getting worse is they just keep releasing all of the people that commit these crimes. They keep getting it released on bail and re-offending. And that's all because of liberal policies that have been put forward, I guess, through with Trudeau that hasn't been changed by Mark Carney. So until now, I think there's talks about it potentially changing. I have a bunch of videos that I'm going to go through. So I'm going to be learning with you. I haven't like fully watched these videos, so I want to watch it with you guys and then I'll share my thoughts and opinions on that. So the first video I'm going to share is I almost find it comical, but it's a police chief in Ontario, Jim McSween, appears to disagree with Ford Nation's calls for Castle Law. So I guess Doug Ford doing something right for once and is asking for Castle Law. But let's just see. Watch this video. I'm gonna see if I can bring it up here. Is it this one? Yeah.
Premier can make his own statement and his own mind up about that. What I would say is, as a police service, we'll follow the laws as they're written. If the laws change, we'll change with the laws. But as it stands, we know the best defense for most people is to comply. As you've just heard, a number of safety recommendations will allow for those that are victimizing members in the community to leave and not harm anyone. It sometimes can fall on deaf ears when members feel like they have to take matters into their own hands. And the only thing I'd say is, if we are going to rely on our community members to take matters into their own hands to solve this problem, we have all failed our community. I've been down at Queen's Park. I've provided comments on bail reform. So have many of my colleagues across the GTA. And here we are again talking about it. And it seems like in some cases, right, we have not moved the needle collectively, because this is not just a police issue. Unfortunately, when it becomes our issue, it's too late. So we need to do something about this issue around bail and about keeping those people off the streets that shouldn't be on the streets.
Oh, that's not the video that I was looking for. Oh, maybe it is. I missed it. I was like reading comments. We know the best defense for most people is to comply. No, no, it's not. We're going to share a comparison to what the defense has been in the US. Where is that video now? I thought I had it.
This
open.
young mom showed the true.
Oh. We'll compare and contrast to the United States. Here. For some reason, I thought I had the video. I don't know if there's graphic content here, probably.
A single mother shot and killed 3 home invaders to protect her son.
I wouldn't have done it, but it was my son. I'd protect him.
This young mom showed the true strength of maternal instinct.
I walked over and got the 12 gauge, went in the bedroom and got the pistol and put the bottle in his mouth, and then I called 911.
Late one night, 3 armed men tried to break into her home on the outskirts of Oklahoma City. Inside, 18-year-old Sarah McKinley was with her 3-month-old baby. When she heard the sound of the men trying to force their way in, McKinley grabbed her 12-gauge shotgun and dialed 911.
I'm here by myself with my infant baby. Can I please get a dispatcher out here immediately?
The dispatcher told her she couldn't fire unless the intruders actually entered her home. So she...
Can you guys hear this? I have a comment saying that there's no sound. Is that just one person? Okay, she has sound now.
hid behind the door waiting. The moment the men broke in, she pulled the trigger, killing one instantly. The other 2 were also shot and collapsed on the floor. When police arrived, the 2 wounded suspects were rushed to the hospital, but both later died from their injuries. After reviewing the 911 call and investigating the scene, authorities ruled that McKinley had acted in self-defense and would not face any charges. What makes her story even more heartbreaking is that her husband had just passed away from cancer on Christmas Day. Though her son will grow up without a father, he will always know that his mother was willing to do whatever it took.
So that's the comparison. And now in Canada, I don't know if you know, there is a case, and I should have brought it up, but there is a case that was brought up where someone broke into this guy's home, and the guy who broke in had a, oh, what's it called? Not a bow and arrow. There's another word. Help me out, guys. In the comments. Oh, I can picture it. I just can't remember the name. Anyways, the guy basically grabbed like what he had and beat him up. And now the guy whose home it got charged, a crossbow. Yeah. So the offender broke in, had a weapon, a crossbow, and this other guy defended himself. I don't remember what it was that he defended himself with. Let's find out here. Let's just ask Grok. Let's see if it'll open up here. Let's see what it comes up. I don't think it was a knife. Jeremy McDonald in Lindsay, Ontario on August 18th. A 44-year-old father was charged with aggravated assault and other offenses after defending his home from a violent intruder. The intruder, 41-year-old man with prior charges, allegedly broke into McDonald's home at 3 a.m., leading to an altercation that left the intruder with life-threatening injuries, requiring airlifting to a hospital. This incident prompted public outcry and reigniting debate about self-defense laws in Canada, with figures like Ontario Premier Doug Ford and Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre advocating for stronger castle law, arguing that homeowners should not face charges for defending their family. The case highlighted the limitations of Canada's self-defense laws under Section 34 and 35 of the Criminal Code, which require force to be reasonable and proportional, unlike the broader protections offered by castle doctrine in some U.S. state. I find this so insane. If somebody is breaking into your home to begin with, they are already breaking the law. If they're willing to do that, they're likely willing to do a lot more. I don't know a single person that gets broken into that doesn't think their life is in danger. And in order for you to defend yourself, and I say this as a former police officer, in order for you to be able to defend yourself by whatever means, it has to be appropriate. As in, it has to be like, in which is explained. But the thing is, if somebody breaks into your home, especially if they have a weapon like a crossbow, I think anybody who with a reasonable mind would fear grievous or bodily harm and would have that right to defend themselves. Now, what it is, it's likely there's so much political pressure on this, whether you want it to be political or not. It has become that because the liberals have been so soft on crime that crime's gone up and things are getting out of hand. So anytime you talk about this being a problem, it becomes political. But it's just interesting to see that this person got charged. We've had similar cases even in Canada that got a lot of like public attention. You would have the Boucher case. So where there was a group of people who broke into, I think it was a shed. They were trying to steal a quad. They had a sawed-off shotgun with them, and the farmers ended up shooting one of the people in the vehicle. But that case was a little bit different too, because the evidence out there, the projectile of the bullet was showing that it would have been shot from like the window up, as if like he was holding on to the windowsill, which matched his testimony that he wasn't actually meaning to shoot them, that the gun went off when he had it in his hand. But anyways, there's been many cases. His case, he did get charged. It went through trial, and then he was found not guilty of murder. But it's just interesting when you see the contrast from Canada to the US. I'm just reading some comments. My brother-in-law hunts deer and wild turkey with a crossbow. They are not to be taken lightly. No, they are extremely dangerous. They can kill you. Sometimes they do, even like I remember in police training, we were actually trained that crossbows can be more dangerous than a gun to a certain extent if you get hit with it, because of the arrows. It cuts into 4 different direction, and the damage is much greater if you get hit with a crossbow versus a bullet. So yeah, versus a bullet would be like a small hole. Crossbow would be much bigger, the amount of damage. David said that his sister says there's nothing she likes that much that warrants any kind of castle law. She is so naive. She is. The people who are willing to do this are willing to kill people. Like if you're willing to go into a home of someone with a weapon, you bring a weapon for a reason. Hey, Naomi, how's it going? We need to catch up. Thank you. It's been a while since I've done the show. I'm more of the mindset of being allowed to protect your home. We've had a break and enter in our house when it was still being built. So, and the guy was still in the house when we arrived here. So we had just like locked up everything. We had installed all the windows and doors, and this was the first time it was locked up. And I think he had been coming in and out for a while. We just hadn't known because it wasn't locked up at the time. But yeah, he broke some windows and he was still in the house when we got here that morning. So there's other incidents too where when we were working, he just walked in like high as a kite. So we kind of warned all our workers, like our electricians, plumbers and stuff, if this guy comes back, call the police. But yeah, he was still here and he was arrested, charged and convicted. But imagine if we had all been sleeping at the time. Ooh, Alberta Cora says we are buying a protective film on our windows that stop them from shattering. We're also putting door stops on our exterior doors and motion detectors as well. We already have cameras. Yeah, we have cameras here. It notifies me if there's a human outside. Mario Zalea. I've shared his stuff before. Let's see what he has to say. I have to go by 2:15 to go pick up James from school. So I'll see how long this episode lasts, but I'll try to get through. It's been so long. I've missed this actually, but it's been a long time since I've done a show like this.
Going to blow your mind. And what I'm going to share with you, you won't find in a single.
Hey, I'm just worried, depending on what he says, I might have to stop the video because if it's like talking specific language, it can give like warning signs on the show, but we'll see.
News outlet. Sure, you guys heard about this in the news headline of a targeted incident where there's now a homicide investigation underway after a man was found unalived in his Vaughan home. New York Regional Police say they're investigating this. They responded at 1 a.m. and they found a victim inside suffering from trauma to his body. Now we get to the truth. The whistleblower who contacted me requested that I leave their name, their identity, even their message completely out of it. This was a home invasion. The suspects are, I have to use the word allegedly, 3 black males that broke into his home. The whistleblower mentioned how they were deeply concerned that all of this information was completely left out. You have to ask yourself, why would they leave out the fact that this was a home invasion and a person lost their life? I'll tell you why. This is the politicization of the police force, I believe, at the highest levels. Not the actual police officers enforcing it, but I think there's strategic communication that was made around this, especially given the fact that Pierre Poilievre literally called into castle law. He's requesting that there's an amendment to the criminal code. This incident would be akin to a snowball being hurled from atop of Mount Everest. Someone lost their life. And this, in turn, would help the Conservative Party and their popularity because they are right. They are right because we need this type of protection for ourselves in our homes. We should have the ability to return lethal force in kind to any sort of home invasion or any sort of intruder. In addition, it shows how weak the liberal laws are. Catch and release. And the answer can be so simple. If it were completely up to me and I was in either Mark Harney's position, I would make it so every single person found with a handgun that was illegally obtained would get a mandatory minimum without parole of 5 years. For every bullet that they have, 1 additional year would be added on. No exceptions, no questions asked. The punishment must be equally as brutal for criminals as what action they can take with that actual handgun. Why is Canada so kind to criminals? We don't need this. Who votes for this? Who wants weak laws? Who wants to live in fear in their home? I guarantee you ask every Canadian that question, not a single one will say me. That's the hypocrisy of the left.
I agree with him. The punishment needs to be much greater. And repeat offenders need to be punished even more than first-time offenders. They need to be kept in jail instead of released on bail just to reoffend. How many of these people that have been committing all of these crimes have just been released? There's another take here that talks about it. This is Blender News. So I don't know if you follow these guys. They do really awesome content. I love in Canada that we now have a ton of conservative content creators. We didn't for a while, and now they're all popping up. So you're going to see me share a lot of their stuff because I think they're doing a wonderful job here.
Violent Long Weekend proves Canada needs a castle law. In Vaughan, a father was executed in front of his family during a home invasion. In Calgary, Elvis Vukaj cycled endlessly through bail hearings, ankle monitors, and warrants until dying in a standoff with police, despite facing charges for shooting a homeowner, a dog, and running extortion schemes. In Mississauga, suspects armed with a knife and claiming a gun stole a luxury vehicle from a driveway. And in Welland, a trans suspect allegedly broke into a home and assaulted a child under 5.
I think that there's a much deeper issue here, and I think it kind of rolls back into a two-tier justice system that we have. And I think it has to do with sort of building out this Canada 2.0 thing and really making way for a lot of new immigrants to sort of find their way through the country without getting in trouble so they can stay. I think that's one of the big reasons that the Liberal government's not really moving too heavy into this.
Maybe this chaos serves a purpose in the sense of, oh, hey guys, everybody is so out of control here. Yeah, we don't have the ability to jail these people because we don't have the infrastructure.
Yes.
But what we can do is create this digital surveillance.
What do you
structure.
think about the Minority Report?
Yeah.
Huh? You're
Yeah.
like, oh God.
So someone would call them conspiracy theorists, saying that it's all by design, but I'm not sure they're far off. I would agree with them. Like, if it gets really out of control, people are more likely to say, yeah, do more gun laws, take away everyone's guns, or maybe digital ID. Yeah. I'm going to use my tagline. I'm not saying that they're going to be implementing a surveillance system to try to stop crime. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but I have questions. my tagline, my go-to tagline. Okay, who else so Pierre announced that he was going to be implementing, if he gets elected, castle law. He called it something else. We're gonna listen here what he says.
Conservatives are standing here today based on the principle that your home is your castle. We're calling on the government to introduce and immediately pass the Stand on Guard law, failing which one of our party's MPs will put forward such a bill. It will amend Section 34.2 of the Criminal Code, which right now says that you can defend yourself based on 9 very complicated and vague conditions. Now, look, if you're defending your house, you don't have time to think through 9 different conditions. You have one condition: to protect yourself and your kids. And it is wrong for the law, for the police, and for judges to apply a complicated, indecipherable legal doctrine against you when you were only doing what is right. Our amendment instead will change Section 34.2 of the Criminal Code to say that the use of force, including lethal force, is presumed reasonable against an individual who unlawfully enters a house and poses a threat to the safety of anyone inside. The proposed amendment is reasonable and prudent. It applies only to the unlawful entry of a home and preserves proportionality. Simply put, it means you have the right to use force to defend your home and your family against someone who threatens you and who has entered illegally.
Well, I really support this new policy, proposed policy or law that Pierre is proposing. It's going to be interesting to see when Parliament starts back, if they're going to be implementing or trying to pass this, if the Liberals are going to push back against it. I was trying to find, and I just realized I don't have it. I was trying to find the MP. Is it Mark Fraser? What's his name here? I've got it somewhere. I wanted to see what he had, some comments. Let's see if I can find it. Sean Fraser, MP Sean Fraser, not Mark, Sean, said this isn't the Wild West, it's Canada. I might see if I can find that video when I play, as I'm playing the next one. But there's another video here of Pierre. It's a different video. Let's play that one. I'm going to see if I can find Sean, what Sean Fraser said. Here you go.
The law needs to be clear that if someone comes into your house uninvited to steal your property or harm your family, you need to be able to do whatever is necessary to stop them. And my message to the criminal thugs who are invading the homes of Canadians in unprecedented numbers because of Liberal laws is that you should be in serious danger if you go into someone's house illegally and try to harm them. If you don't want to be harmed, then don't invade someone's house and don't threaten their security. The law needs to be very clear that people have the right to defend their homes and their families against lawbreakers.
I'm trying to find it. I'm not having much luck. If you guys have it, send it to me. I asked Grok to help me. There's a YouTube video titled Absurd Liberal Response to Self-Defense. It's not the Wild West. This is Canada. Uploaded September 2nd. Let's see. If you guys have seen it, send it to me. I'll play it. Okay, next. Next video. Let's see what else I got here. Danielle Smith was, is it was this as the Alberta Next panel? But there's a video here. I'll play it where she talks about like the firearm and firearm confiscation. Where did I put that video? Here. I'll upload it. This is the joys of a live show. Especially when we interact with the comments and stuff and decide to go in a specific direction or not. But here it is, Danielle Smith. Let's see what she has to say.
Currently, we have a public safety minister who wants to come and take my legally obtained firearms, in which I took a safety course for, legally purchased, but he can't define what a restricted position acquisition license is. He had to recuse himself from a terrorist organization, which is the Tamale Tigers. I will not be handing them over to the federal government because I'm not supposed to give my firearms to criminals. So I'm not going, so I can't go to the range. I can't do my sport shooting with 90% of my firearms because I became a criminal overnight with an unjust gun grab fraud. I know that Premier Smith is familiar with the homeowner in Ontario who was just charged with injuring a home intruder who had a crossbow.
You should ask her about it.
Yeah, Canadians are being charged for protecting themselves, their families, and their property, and being backed into a corner through submission by the federal government. Where we're being told to leave our keys beside our unlocked door, as criminals have more rights than we do. So where would the Alberta Police Force stand in relation to the legal firearm owners?
It's a great question. I'm glad we ended on that. And I'm sorry to those of you still lining up. I did say that was it. Premier, can you address those ones first, and then we'll book it?
Well, let me tell you my frame on this. So the proper use of the criminal code power is the way the feds will regulate around, for instance, vehicular homicide. Like, there are ways that you can use your car that kill people, and they look at that as a criminal penalty and they charge you. But you know what they don't do? They don't come in and say, red cars have a disproportionate number of accidents, therefore we're going to ban red cars and confiscate them, right? They're able to see that there is one use of that particular piece of property that is criminal, and they let us regulate who gets a driver's license and who registers a car. So I'm just going to take that analogy a little bit further. They can regulate the criminal use of firearms. They can go after the bad guys who are breaking into people's houses with crossbows. And we will then regulate the legal use of firearms so you can continue to own them, collect them, use them for sport shooting, use them for hunting, and use them for other purposes. So we're working right now on what a legislative framework for an Alberta firearms license would look like. And we're going to fight it out because property and civil rights are our jurisdiction under Section 91 of the Constitution. 91 or 92. I always get those. I think it's Section 12. I'll have to defer to my judge on that. But that is as you've seen, we have already taken action in that regard. We told the municipalities, no, you can't have a handgun ban. That is not municipal jurisdiction. We told the RCMP, no, you cannot participate in the confiscation scheme. We've told our sheriffs that. We have told municipal forces, if you want to participate in the confiscation scheme, you have to come and get a permit from the Justice Minister, and I have it on good authority. He will not say yes. There is a piece that we're missing because Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe said that any of the mail delivery services were not allowed to convey these firearms. We're going to have to change our legislation to make sure that that's not a loophole that they can use as well. We've also passed our own Firearms Act, and we will do everything we possibly can to make it as difficult as possible for anyone to get the permit that they need to participate in that program. That's our ability to do that, using our ability to regulate on professions. So in short, you'll see that us and Saskatchewan are going to do whatever we can to make sure that we're defending firearms owners' rights. And I know we're coming up to a deadline here, so just have some patience because we know how important that is. We just have a different approach we want to take in Alberta, and I think that is what the Constitution allows, and we'll see what the courts say about it.
All right. Thank you for asking the question.
That was a really good answer. It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to pass and propose. In Saskatchewan, the law that I'm going to basically dumb it down what they did in Saskatchewan. So they passed a law that anyone who wants to confiscate or come take your guns has to get certified or pass like licensing and stuff. And then they've made it so difficult that basically no one can get that license to do it. So it's going to be interesting. Hi, Maria. It's been a while. Yes. I'm starting again Mondays. So every Monday, I'm going to be doing one show. I'm not doing too much. I'm not going to go back to daily. That was too much. I'm going to do one live show on Mondays, basically the same as I'm doing right now. That way, I'm not like so inundated with doing research every day. I was spending so much time online and it got really draining. When all you're doing is doing research for your show the next day, and all you're exposed to is so negative all the time. I don't want to go back to that. So what I'm planning on doing is doing one live show a week, talking about politics, news, that kind of stuff, and probably have some guests on as well, just like I did in the past. I really enjoyed that. And then I'm going to do homesteading content, a cooking content as well. And what else? And yeah, a show potentially with Jonathan and I. So we don't know what day that's going to be, and it may be live or it may not be live. So we're hoping to do that. It's going to be called The Nest Perspective. So all of it will be on this channel, but it's just going to be different episodes, all sorts of different content. So that's why the name's changed. It's called Rooted, Salty, and Light with myself, Nadine Ness. So I had to incorporate the farm homesteading content. So if you see my YouTube channel, it looks different now. But okay, what else? I've got to go in 7 minutes. So I'm going to go through this one really fast here. I just realized I didn't change. I haven't shown you guys like the settings like this here, because I was playing all these videos. I think this is the first tweet that I'm showing that's not a video. Liberal job loss crisis worsens as 66,000 Canadians lost their jobs last month due to Mark Carney's economic failure. A total of 106,000 have lost their jobs this summer, Conservatives will fight for these devastated families to bring back high-paying jobs that go to Canadians first. So the Conservative Party, or Pierre, is starting to go really hard on immigration. I think most of us are saying it's about time, but he's kind of being vocal about that a lot, which I'm welcoming. See what else. Here's a video again here. Oh, I've got to grab it and put it on the other screen. I thought I had it up already. I don't think I did. We'll open it up.
Temporary foreign workers.
But Mark Nixon, another good person to follow. So if you don't follow him already, I highly recommend you do. He puts out a lot of content. Canada has lost 100,000 jobs in 2 months. 48 hours ago, Mark Carney said we need more temporary foreign workers. This isn't a it's a clown show under collapsing tent. But let's play the video.
Issue is access to temporary foreign workers. OK? Et pour le moment, c'est une des grandes demandes du gouvernement du Québec. Et c'est une
Okay, so he's saying in French, for the moment, it's a big demand from the Quebec government.
des grandes demandes des entreprises québécoises.
From enterprises, Quebec enterprises.
Il faut garder ce programme,
We need to keep the program.
pas éliminer ce programme.
Oh.
Éliminer ce programme. Garder ce programme.
Sorry.
Il faut garder ce programme, pas éliminer ce
Yeah, he's saying we need to keep this program, not eliminate it.
alors, mais issue is access to.
I'm wondering if, yeah, his French is not that great. So in case you guys didn't know, my first language is French. So I understand French and speak it fluently. So I can criticize it. Mine is much better. I'm just trying to see. There's another thing that's being announced here. Mark Carney wants to have boots on the ground in Ukraine, Canadian boots on the ground in Ukraine. I'm going to see if I can play that video too. Actually, you know what? Let's save that for the next show. But it's one of the things he announced because I just realized I have 3 minutes left. And one of the things he's done is he admits that the reality of 2026 EV mandate is shouldn't be still going ahead. So he's planning on scrapping that. Mark says, why did it take back bankruptcies and CEOs screaming before the Liberals woke up? This government doesn't lead, it crashes the car. And then brags about fixing the bumper. But so sorry, I have a fruit fly right now. This one's 43 seconds, so I'll play that one. That one I had save up here. He did a bunch of announcements.
This will provide immediate financial relief to automakers at a time of increased pressure on their competitiveness. And the government will begin immediately a 60-day review of the EV standard to identify future flexibilities and ways to reduce costs. And we'll advance new options to bring more and more affordable electric vehicles to Canadians.
Does that mean he's going to take away the ban on Chinese electric vehicle, or take away the tariffs on Chinese EV? so we can have more affordable Chinese electric vehicle? Because then maybe we'll get the tariff dropped on canola. So he also is announcing bail reform. I feel like this is like just taking
in our
the
neighborhoods.
conservative platform
This government is
months
committed
later.
to reforming the criminal code to ensure that organized crime, gang crime, crime with handguns, home invasions, auto theft, that the individuals who participate in those crimes pay the price they should with consecutive sentencing, that they are not in a position where they commit a crime one day and they're arrested and then out on bail the next. So bail reform being at the heart of it. We're committed to having more officers at our border, 1,000 more border agents, more RCMP, committed to working more closely with the provinces. And I'll give you a specific example with respect to the last. We've been working with the Council of Federation, all the provinces, on bail reform. We will be legislating on that. We're proposing legislation, I should say, to the House on that next month in our neighborhoods.
So good. You would think they would have been doing it on their own before the Conservative Party's platform this for months and months and months. But I guess it's good that they're realizing now. Probably because the Conservatives are going up in the polls again. I saw that David wanted me to cover that, but I don't have a copy of it. But let's see. Going up in poll. Let's see if I can. Yeah, here you go. Abacus poll February 5th to the 11th. No, that's an old one. Latest. Let's see. I don't have a recent one. I'll share it on my next episode. I did see it on Twitter, or X. I just wasn't bookmarking everything like I used to do with my show because I wasn't sure exactly when I was going to start up again. But I was tired of like waiting for everything to be perfect and ready to go or finished. So I thought, you know what, I'll just start with the weekly show. That's something that I can easily do. And I kind of decided that this morning. And but yeah, I have to leave. I have to go pick up my son and I have to deliver some eggs. So if you're in the greater Saskatoon area and you want eggs, I'll be doing some deliveries later today. I'm just looking at I'm going to address a few comments and then I'll get going. David says, I'm surprised Carney has not withdrawn 100% tariff on Chinese EV. I thought he would let his best buddy flood our country with their EVs because if they remove it, then Saskatchewan and Alberta won't be suffering as much from the canola tariffs. That's why I think. Pam Bondi just announced that the USA is putting more troops on the border to deal with Canada's passivity on our border. Shots fired. Oh, I didn't see that. I'll have to find the video. So the next show will be Monday. So it'll be every Monday, except when Monday's a stat holiday, then the show will be on Tuesday. So, and I have a website that's going to be going live. We've just been going back and forth. It was ready with the original show, but because we were kind of taking things in a new direction, I haven't released it live yet. And that's going to probably be going live in the next couple of days. I just sent back like to tweak a few things. But yeah, and my channel is monetized, which is awesome. And it's probably one of the reasons I'm doing the show again. I mean, I've made 9 cents so far. Actually, more than that, because David, you gave me a super chat, the first that I've gotten, but it was hard to stay motivated to keep going and doing it when it's costing a lot of money for production. Like I have to have like a whatever the membership to Twitter, to Facebook, to Instagram, to YouTube and pay for it in order for me to monetize. So I have like people that I pay monthly for like the website and all of that. And the StreamYard to stream this costs quite a bit of money, and that went up. So like the cost of production for the show is over $500 a month. Well, when there's no opportunity or option to be able to even make anything back, it's hard to stay motivated to keep going and to keep pushing and working so much, because it's so time consuming. I'm just looking at a comment here. I'm just gonna, for some reason, StreamYard is like only showing one at a time. It's not like it used to be. Maria says she thinks Trump and his team are fed up with our tax take on matters and inability to fix Canada's border issues. I just realized I wasn't showing you guys his comments on the screen. I'll start doing that. I kind of forgot. Kevin says, first time I hear of your show. Nice to see another conspiracy realist. I like that name, conspiracy realist. It's not a conspiracy if it's happening and it's true, but I will share conspiracies too at times and my thoughts on it. But I try to keep it more like general in reality. There are some like crazy conspiracies out there, but there's a lot of real ones that are actually happening that just people are not aware of. So, but yeah, I'll be back on Monday because Monday's not a holiday. And again, if you didn't know about it, We Unify conference, I'm going to be speaking at that, not this weekend. It's the 18th to the 21st. Just make sure I didn't miss that. Yeah, the 18th to the 21st. I'll be heading out there, driving out on the 18th and coming back on the 21st. So September 22nd show will still go ahead. But yeah, so we'll do one show a week. I'm going to start posting a lot more content too on the homesteading. I'm not going to do the cooking and recipes yet, just because the studio, I guess the filming part of that is not set up yet. I got this really cool stand though that I'll be able to move like this show here to like the kitchen, or to move it from the kitchen or downstairs where I build all the wood projects too. So I'm going to be sharing about that, like anything that I'm working on that I'm building. I've been taking a lot of videos of like when I was turning the shipping container into a coop. So stuff like that. And yeah, I'll be sharing a lot more of our life, real life, than just like politics and news. Because I think sometimes you need to learn more about a person and where their background is to understand where their perspective comes from. And I've always been someone who kind of wears my heart on my sleeve. Is that the expression, heart on their sleeves? And Jonathan's like, did you just share too much? But I don't believe in such a thing. I think if people know you personally, they know where your heart is at when you're sharing your perspectives and opinions. And I think we need more of that, not less of that. We're seeing a lot of this like fakeness and I say like Instagram perfect life or Facebook perfect life. And I don't want to show that. I want to show like the reality of it. Although at the same time, I'm saying I didn't want to show you guys my basement because it was a disaster. But it just, yeah, gotten so out of control because anytime I work on projects and stuff, everything that the tools and stuff would just like be put in the basement. So it wasn't in our area of the house. But yeah, it's much better now. I've been building a whole bunch of stuff to try to organize. And we still have one shipping container. We have two shipping containers. One we've had forever, and we just have a ton of stuff stored in there from when we moved in here 4 years ago. When I had plans of finishing the house and bringing all of this in, a lot of it is like home decor and stuff. And I haven't even decorated our house because it hasn't been finished. So we're clearing that out and turning that into a chicken coop as well for all the chicks that we're growing from eggs We're hatching some right now. Actually, some today. We had some hatch 4 days ago, and we have some hatching today. So I'm recording partway through, but I gotta go. I gotta go deliver some eggs before I go pick up my son from school, and I will be back on Monday. I'll probably do around the same time, maybe closer to 12. This time I started at 1. So yeah, I'll do closer to 12 probably on Monday. I'll have a set start time that I'll be doing like every show, but it's just today was just like a random let's do it. Let's do the show. Get it started again. We got to start somewhere, right? Okay, see you guys, and I will see you on Monday.